8.4.
8.4, okay, noted. Any further conflicts of interest with any of the agenda items? Delegations, presentations, and petitions. So for everyone's information, and those out, that are online, Inuvik Town Council has somewhat of a history of having a student rep counselor. Was started in the early 2000s and then went for a while, and then it got dropped at some point, and certainly over COVID it was dropped. We brought it back last year, and we wanted to do the same for this year. And so what we've done, we put the call out to the high school, and there were two students, both in grade 11, and both very interested. And so Cindy and I met with Rosita and with Deandra and talked to both of them. And because sometimes things come up and scheduling, and so we decided that why don't both of them sit on council as student reps, and they'll decide who comes to which meetings, and given their schedules. And they're both in grade 11, so over the next 2 years, they'll have the opportunity to participate if they choose to. And so what we're gonna do this evening is, we're hoping both would be here, but we do have Christina here, and so we'll do the swearing in ceremony with Christina, and then if Deandra hasn't made it in soon, then we'll do hers perhaps on Wednesday. Okay, both got the swearing in. You just want to stand up and then just read your oath of office, student council representative. Yeah, just read that there.
I, Christina Adams, do solemnly affirm that I will carry out my role as student council representative with honesty, respect, and dedication. I promise to share the voices and ideas of my fellow students with the town council, to listen with an open mind, and to contribute positively to this discussion of our community. Although I do not hold a vote, I will participate fully, bring forward the perspectives of youth, and do my best to represent the interests of my peers. Signed this 22nd day of September 2025 at Inuvik, Northwest Territory.
Perfect. Welcome to council. So the role of the student council is to bring that youth representation to council for some of our discussions, and especially during some of our committee meetings. So the student councilors are also on the Parks, Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. And that's probably the one that they would be mostly interested in, as opposed to administration. But also it's one where we're doing events, and we've got things going on at the complex and at the Welcome Center and different events in town. And it'll be great to get, okay, what do the youth think of that? What would the students participate in? So that's great, and we're very welcome to town council. We're very happy to have you, and we'll also do the same for Deandra when she's able to show up. Okay. Public question period. Any questions from the public? Being none. Adoption of the item number 6, adoption of the minutes. And so we've got 3 separate minutes that we will be having a motion on Wednesday. Any changes needed on 6.1, 6.2, or 6.3? There. Action items, list from the minutes. Any action items?
No other update with regard to NTPC. As we're all aware, the community plan is going to be reviewed hopefully for final passing in November. And the only other action item coming out of last council was the road renaming, which most of the work has already been done. So should be within the next 30 days. And all of the agencies required have been notified, so. That's it.
Thanks. 8.1 request for council decision. This is the 2026 council and committee schedule. So what we tried to do is to put all of the committee meetings. We've pretty much selected those dates so that council knows which dates that they have a commitment for, depending which committee they're on. And so we've also included those on there. So on Wednesday, we'll both go through this and we'll need a motion to accept that for 2026. Item number 8.2, request for council decision on donations. And this is a request for donation of space in the Midnight Sun Complex. And this is something similar to what we have done in the past.
Yes.
Okay, so that the Girl Guides are able to use the space if we don't have it rented out. And then if we've got that specific space rented out, then they'll use an alternate space. Questions, comments from council? We do have a rep from Girl Guides here to answer any questions if you do have any questions, Alyssa's. Councilor Raymond.
What's our alternate space?
Well, for example, if they are using the community lounge upstairs and that's rented out, then they could use the Sundog room. Or if they're using the community hall or games night or whatever, and that's rented out, then they could use the space upstairs.
Okay, just want to make sure that we get a space, that's all.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. And it's something that, I mean, Cindy and I had a discussion. Yes, it's something we're proving for the Girl Guides because they requested it. But if there were other youth groups in town that also needed a space from us, we'd also consider that. Anything we can do to assist the various youth groups and organizations, it's good for the town. Okay. 8.3, the adoption of the Inuvik Community Energy Plan. I think all of you have had that plan for a while now. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to go through it and ask any questions previously or make any changes. But if there are questions or comments that people have, we can still answer any questions or make any changes. We also have Kevin Corrigan from it looks like Tanner from the Arctic Energy Alliance, who assisted Cheryl. Cheryl's also here, who worked on the plan, assisted her as we were developing that plan throughout most of 2024. Questions, comments on the plan? Okay. 8.4. We just take a break. I don't have 8.4 in my package. Is there 8.4 in your time?
Just see if I can find it.
Anyway, 8.4 is to award this snow removal and sanding services contract. So that is a recommendation coming from our Department of Infrastructure.
It's right at the ring.
So, okay. And all of you have that in your package? Yeah, so you'll see the numbers there. And yeah. Questions, comments? Councilor Merrill?
Did we just have the one company bidding?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And it's based on an hourly rate this year, and that's based on when the Department of Infrastructure requests their services. So that's an estimation based on what average snowfall might be and what average sanding demands would be. Okay? No further questions, comments? Then you wanna get Kurt back? Sure. Kurt.
Oh.
It's a lot of glass. Okay, item number 9, bylaws, we don't have any bylaws. Item number 10, department updates, and we haven't had updates from the directors for a couple months, so this may take a while to get through everything that we've got, but it'll be good information, and I know that they pulled together some reports, and so those will be on the screen.
Yes.
Yes. I guess Kevin on corporate services.
Actually, we're still trying to download corporate services. It's a bit big.
Okay.
So we'll start with economic development and tourism.
Okay. 10-2, economic development and tourism, Garland.
What do you do now?
Sorry, Charlotte, you're not gonna be able to use that today. 1 second, please. It's okay. We can go to the next one. Good evening, everyone. So I'll just summarize quickly what happened the last few months this summer. Firstly, we had a lot of visitors coming. We had more than 600 people signing up to book. We can double that number of visitors in the Welcome Center. They were welcomed by Cortland. She just finished her summer job today. And I cannot thank her enough again, how much work she's done, and everybody really liked her. So thank you again, Cortland. And Amanda too, that was here in support all summer to help her with the shop and welcoming visitors and assisting everyone. So thank you again. So the events, we had the Arctic Market every Saturdays. Total average sales between May and September were $84,000, and the biggest sales were made on June 21st, which was Indigenous Peoples Days, as well as the end of the ADE. And July 12th was the Great Northern Arts Festival. Then we had the Fiddle and Flow Festival, August 15th to 17th. We had more than 30 performers that were scheduled, but then after there's always people joining as well, and more than 300 attendees. A quick shot. So Amazing Race Canada, right after it aired on July 29. And on the 30th, Inuvik was very trendy on Google search. That's the little peak you can see in the middle. And then the last one that is almost to 100% was, of course, on Saturday, this last Saturday, where people were looking up Inuvik on the Google. A harvest festival was held on September 6th. The town co-organized with the greenhouse. They hosted the event at the greenhouse with a free barbecue, and we were hosting the Arctic Market upstairs, which went very well. Everybody really loved it, and vendors were actually looking to have Arctic markets out there more often. We also had the Culture Connections, that's the picture on top or on the boardwalk. It was well attended. This year I didn't get funding, and you can see it in the numbers. I really have to look in some way to get more funding or revenues on that activity. And so the next thing that's happening, I'm flying out October 6th, I'm sorry, slide before. Jenna, please. Or maybe it's automatic, I don't know. I don't know what just happened. If you can just go back in the previous one. Yep. Traveling October 6 to 9 to the Economic Development Association of Canada conference. Then we are, the department is working on the Small Business Week that happening October 19th to the 25th. What we have scheduled for now is a free Arctic market. We are also partnering with ITI to give out a Northernmost Coast workshop. It's free for anyone who wants to attend. It's 2 days. And it's basically learning about NWT tourism in general and how to welcome people in the territory. And finally, I'm part of the board of the Beaufort Delta Business Trade Show, which is happening November 15 at the MSC. We're finalizing all the details. It's going to be again on 2 days with several activities going on, but the main thing is November 15 with the booths and the trade show. And different projects that we've been working on. So the Municipal 511 is a platform. It's a project that we've been working cross-departmental with infrastructure, and it's going to impact as well municipal enforcement. So if you can see, so it's a platform where you can add any, how would you call it, work or jobs there? Live updates being done in the community. So for example, the one that you can see, I just put on the Mackenzie Bridge construction, work construction. You can put out just a notice of work being done. You can even put like a detour, road detour. You can select a zone, for example, the water shutdowns, even like bear activity. We can even put like a zone, anything like that. So what you can see, so I haven't done any communication to the public yet. We're still trying to figure out how this works, but I'm just having fun right now. But it is on the, so there's a training app on the side. Right now what it's live is the only Mackenzie Bridge. And on the right side, you can see this is the Town of Inuvik website as of this afternoon. This is the bottom of the page of the home page. So you can see the news, the events, the latest post on the Facebook page, as well as this live map, of the Municipal 511. It's basically the same platform as the Yukon info for the Dempster Highway. It's live with notices, and you can click on each notice and have more details. Also, you can see at the bottom of the page of the website, there is like nice pictures. This is from Proudrift. It's a board, and we can add more pictures to it. So it's pictures that I've taken from many users from Instagram, Facebook, any social media. You just ask a request and you can use those pictures. So we're gathering more data and pictures for our own media purposes and marketing purposes. So, and finally, the Inuvik guide. We started the campaign 3 weeks ago. So it's out. If any businesses want to apply to it, you can send an email to tourism@inuvik.ca. And finally, the marketing position. So the marketing person quit in August, and we put out the job internally for now, and see what happens at the end of the week. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Questions, comments from council?
That's a good word.
That's it. All right, thanks, Charlotte. What are we doing next?
Might as well just work our way down and then we'll finish with Stephen.
10-3 infrastructure, Daniel.
It's just computer is acting up and it's frozen now.
Oh, really? Yeah, and that's been horrible all day.
Okay, there should be.
Maybe from home, anyway.
There you go.
Alright. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick update from the Department of Infrastructure. Slide, so community services, the facilities department were busy all summer. fixing up and maintaining all of our assets. A couple of the activities they were involved involved guardrails repairs, the brushing, filling up potholes, ditching, and those are a couple of photos there showing the team while we were working on Mackenzie Road, fixing the guardrail that was damaged on that road there. Next slide, please. Just a couple more photos in conjunction with the contractors. Obviously, we're working on the drainage improvement. That was the picture on the left is the drainage issue we had on Reliance by the blue bin, which has now been replaced. And on the right, you have one of the team working on replacing all the street signs that had faded. So they did a couple of those as well this summer. Parks and trails, the picture to the left was the trail, and then in the middle there was after they had done brushing to try to clear the path and make it easy for users, pretty much. Next slide. Financial overview for most of those budget lines for the facilities team. So dust abatement, drainage, pretty much things we get to do through the summer: gravel road repair, brushing, pavement repair, guardrails, and street signs. For most of this, we are still within budget. The two items that will probably be over budget at the end of the year will be the drainage and the street sign. The street sign, we're already above budget with about 3,000. We had a budget of about 5,000. We are currently at $8,000, something around that. And for the drainage, unfortunately, we've had those big issues with Mackenzie Road on the Anglican Church and all of that, and we're already pretty much maxed out there now. So by the time those invoices come in, we will be potentially over budget with the drainage budget line as well. Next slide. Community services, water and sewer. The utility team have also been busy through the summer. The pictures I have there are those from the Mackenzie Road, where we had that issue by the Anglican Church there. So the picture on the far right is the culvert, the original condition of the culvert. And then when they were trying to clear it out, and then obviously the walkway collapsed on them. And the one in the middle is the culvert. When it was brought out, it was pretty much done. It was past his lifespan really. And so a new culvert has been put in place, and that has now been covered, which I guess most people are aware of, because we did get a couple of phone calls about that. So they worked with contractors to resolve drainage issues. They flushed the water lines at the hydrants. They cleaned the sludge tanks and the active flow tanks in the water treatment plant. And I think I have a couple of photos of that in the next slide. So we had the old reservoir cleaned this summer, and we are currently working on the new one. The health officer made this a condition to have the tanks cleaned annually, and this hasn't been done in. None of the guys remember ever doing it, so we're doing it for the first time, and so it's been a little bit challenging, but we have successfully cleaned the old one and currently working on the new one. The picture in the middle is just another photo from showing this sky view, I guess, of the Mackenzie Road crossing there by the church. The chlorine contact tanks on the right-hand side there, that's in the water treatment plant. That's where our water comes in contact with chlorine, so those tanks were also cleaned this summer. Financial overview for the water sewer operations. I just took a couple of the budget line items I have there, and the chemical one is the big one most years, and currently we're still on the budget. We just had a big order for coagulants for the rest of the year, so that's probably gonna push that line item to almost equal or slightly over. The road repair and maintenance, contractor services with the engineering supports we get for the water treatment plant, the repair and maintenance. So these are all under Department 60, and right now we're still sitting pretty, but that picture might look a little bit different once some of the invoices coming from the order for the last bit of chemicals we just made. Community engagement. So through the summer, just like Director Verrier mentioned, we did launch the Municipal 511, and that was actually experienced that in action, to be honest. I think we had a fire call and we were driving out and we had the map on. And the map just kept screaming at us saying Mackenzie Road is closed, take another route. So yeah, so that's just one of the things that new application that was launched does in terms of road closures and keeping everyone informed. We also launched the Spot and Fix. This was put on Facebook and on our website too, where community members can scan the QR code and put in a complaint while they're walking around or driving around or anything like that. And it has been used, and we have tried our best to address most of the complaints that have come in via that channel. Next one, capital projects. So the big one, the biggest one this year is the utility replacement project. Budget for that was about 4.569. Actual cost so far is about 1.7. But unfortunately, based on a couple challenges they have met on site and a couple issues, and especially the inclusion of the bridge on Mackenzie, that budget has gone slightly above. I mean, the estimated total cost has gone slightly above what we budgeted. So right now we have a shortfall of about 197,000, which will be coming to council to potentially reallocate funds from other capital projects that hasn't been completed this year. Based on my conversation with the contractor earlier today, the road they are currently experiencing an issue, a snag with survey and a little bit of engineering with the road crossing, but hoping everything goes well. The plan is to have that open by the end of next week. Completion date for the overall project will be, which is the entire utility, having everything hooked up, will be the middle of November 2025. So those are just pictures across town, across the 3 different sites, showing the progress of the construction. Sewage lagoon dike rehabilitation project. The budget for this was 1 million. So far, we have spent about 106. A couple of the materials have started to arrive. The guardrails are in, the couplers are in. We also have the 800 millimeter HDPE pipes as well. All those are currently sitting on King Road. And a couple of those items are still going to be coming in for the next couple of months. Solid waste site electric fence. So the budget for that was about slightly over 1 million. Actual so far is about 365. The fence is, I would say, 65 to 70%. The project as a whole, I guess, it's about 65 to 70% done. The fence is not fully enclosed yet. We have a couple spots open for where we've recognized as high traffic areas for the bears, so they can still go back and forth. The current plan is construction on the fence will resume at the end of October, when hopefully they have started hibernating and we can close off the fence and get that electrified, possibly towards the end of November. Site work should resume momentarily there because they need to still build up the berm to cover the base of the fence. And I know they started delivering the gravel already. We're just waiting for better weather because the whole place is wet right now, and the heavy equipment will probably find it difficult to get on there at this time. The solar farm budget for this year was about 1.1. We've spent about 541. Unfortunately, with the delay we've experienced with the BESS system, the battery system coming from China, the project has now been completion of the project has now been moved to March 2026. The battery is ready, just needs to get onto the shores of Canada and get to Inuvik, and it can be installed. So the guys are coming in next week to start testing all of the equipment they have installed already. And hopefully we can get the battery here and have this all hooked up by March of 2026. Gravel crushing program, we've had the budget for this was 282. We spent about 255. So far, about 2,000 meter cube of asphalt aggregate has been delivered, and about 1,150 meter cube of the 7,000 meter cube sanding gravel has also been delivered. On the right hand side, there is the drawing from the surveyor showing how much quantity and of gravel has been delivered on our site in King Road, and the picture at the left is just showing the actual gravel there on King Road. Financial overview for the capital projects. Right now, they are all still under budget. But like I said earlier, for the utility replacement, we are potentially going to be over budget on that one as the project progresses. Another one that comes to mind that will potentially have a little bit of a shortfall will be the gravel crushing, not because we didn't plan for it, but he produced more than he was supposed to produce in the first year. So we're trying to speak to him now, and it was supposed to be a 3-season project. But he has produced more than he was supposed to produce this year. So we're trying to talk to him to see how that goes. But yes, we were going to be paying for it next year. So either we pay him this year or pay him next year. Probably going to do the same thing. But yeah, in terms of the project we have planned this year, we're probably going to be going over on that one. Next slide. A couple more capital projects, just looking at the budgets there. The Children's First flooring, we handed over the flooring to the CFS. So we are only responsible for the kitchen. All of the kitchen cabinetry, the metal cabinets are all here and in cold storage. So we're just waiting for them to be ready with their flooring in, and then we can coordinate to have that installation done. The boat launch rehabilitation, pool control, that's done. Ice plant model is also done, and all those came in under budget. The whole garbage bin, that's it's a lease, and we hadn't paid it, I think, at the time this was done, but I think we've paid it now, or we're getting paid very soon, so that's probably exhausted too. Next slide. Tenders. In collaboration with the communications team, we have 3 tenders out there. We have the 2026 as and when tenders for the plumbing, electrical, brush cutting, road fuel supply, road, and that should be ditch maintenance, and utility piling repair. And we also have the procurement for the calcium pallets for dust abatement for next year. That has also been posted. And fuel treatment services, which is a project we are working on with the Department of Municipal Enforcement and fire folks. So we have that posted as well, and we're going to be doing a section of that hopefully when the tender closes, we'll see who bids for it and how we can work to complete that. Thank you very much for your time.
Any Daniel, questions, comments from council? Councilor Merrow, and then Councilor Barrett.
How long, maybe Councilor Wayman can answer this, do we think the hole on Mackenzie is still gonna be there? Not that I'm not enjoying watching it.
What do you mean, like where they dug up?
Where they dug up, where there's a
Yeah.
great big hole, where the bridge used to be.
Yeah, so like I said, the bridge opening, based on the conversation I had with the contractor today, they are hoping to have that road open again by the end of next week. The original plan was actually Monday, when I initially spoke to him, but they had a current snag with engineering and survey. So that needs maybe a couple of days to resolve, and once that's done, the culverts will be put in and it will be covered up, and hopefully by the end of next week, we'll have that road flowing again.
Okay, quite a few people will come see me in my office then.
Councilor Barrett.
I know that the washerman concession capital project for Jim Cooney was pushed back to the infrastructure committee. Is there an update on any discussion that happened there and what will happen to that moving forward?
Yeah, so we've had 2 meetings about it. You know what, 3 meetings actually. So there were 2 meetings, 2 committee meetings, where we had a couple of suggestions back and forth. But we then had a meeting with the engineer end of last week, and he had a different idea that was presented, and the plan was to take that idea back to the committee in September 14, I think that's the next meeting. And then after that, we'll have a decision. So there was somewhat of a decision made in the first 2 meetings. The engineer had something different to say. We're going to go back to the committee in the next one, and then hopefully have a resolution and a way forward.
Any further questions, comments? Councilor Wayman.
Have we thought of a plan to actively or proactively check all the rest of our major crossings on Main Street?
Yes, so when we had the inspection done on Mackenzie, he did an inspection of all the bridges. I'm still waiting for the report, but from the preliminary conversations we had, one on Mackenzie and the one right of Kingman, yeah, right in front of the school, were the two they were really concerned about right off the bat. Well, there was a little bit of concern as well about one of the ones on Spruce, but that can be patched and repaired. But those two were the major ones, and so we're already doing one. And if we're currently having conversations about our capital projects for next year, and the current idea is to do this one next year, if
And
if
about,
finances and everything lines up.
about the major culvert crossings on Mackenzie, that just because we've had that one big failure, it's from 1980.
Mm.
And all our culverts are about all the same. It's just proactive before, no surprises for our budget next year.
Yeah, well, we haven't looked into that, but after the incident, obviously with the one close to the Anglican church, there's something we'll be looking at as well and seeing what we can do with our capital projects for next year and potentially. If there's anyone that's already giving us issues, then maybe we need to look at that right away for replacement
Because
next
it's
year.
like probably most likely to be financially ready for it, but also to keep our tourism season open and not jam up Main Street for our tourism and stuff. And these failures coming are obviously really old, so that's what I'm saying, that be proactive. Something to investigate. Thank you.
Danielle, the staff had mentioned this is the first time we've had to clean the water tanks.
At least none of these current staff members remember, they've never done it since any of them has been here. Yes.
So
But since
do you know if something changed with the health regulations, or why now would we have to do that annually where we may not have done it previous 10, 15 years?
Yeah, we went back and forth with the health officer. The very first report I received when I joined in 2024, he had it outlined. And I spoke to my predecessor, I spoke to the guys, and they were like, we've never done it. We don't know why. I mean, I would do the regular testing, right? And we don't know why. But apparently he quoted the regulations and the acts, and it's something we're supposed to be doing. We've done it this year, then we'll probably reevaluate again, and probably if we have to push back, just like we did for the
Water point.
water points, yes. We might have to push back. But yeah, it's never been done, so it was a good thing to actually get it done. The old tank was pretty grim when they got in there. But yeah.
What does that cost us this year to do the two of them?
So I did carry a budget in the capital for reservoir rehabilitation. I don't have the invoices yet, the final invoices for the cleaning, but I did carry a $250,000 budget for capital for rehabilitation. The project itself was more than just the cleaning.
Yeah.
But this year we've only successfully done the cleaning. So the plan was to get the valves replaced because 3 of the valves there are giving us issues, clean the tanks, and then if there was any other issues with the pipes and stuff like that. But this year we've only successfully done the cleaning. We haven't touched the valves or anything like that. So we'll probably be postponing all the other parts of the project to next year.
Okay, the other question I had, the as and whens, why are those done annually where a lot of our other contracts are done for 3 years or for 5 years? Most of the as and whens aren't that much. It would seem the administration to do a 1-year contract is a lot of work, and then now we're back at doing the administration again. Is there a reason why the as and whens are annually?
That was the system I met in place. It's a conversation we have had about potentially extending this, especially for continuity with the contractors as well, because if they're working on something, they know exactly what they've been doing, and then it moves on to the next day. So we've had that conversations already. We haven't implemented it just yet, though. The last one we did was 1 year, and so it's expiring by December, and so we're getting prepared for the next year. So we only posted it today, on Friday today, so we can still make changes to it if that's a conversation we want to have, and probably make changes to say this one is going to be for 2 years or for 3 years. The other contracts you're talking about, then they're not necessarily as and when, I guess. So the garbage, the landfill, all those are, and the snow clearing, they're all 5 years. They're all 4 or 5 years, yeah, unlike the as and when, but that was how it has always been done, I guess. But we can always make changes if that's what we want to do.
Administratively wise, especially, they're not huge contracts. It would just make sense to have them, minimum 3 years or, 2 years, because, yeah, the amount of work it takes to do all of those, and then, like I said, the continuity, because often you're in the middle of a project and then you could potentially be changing contractors, so. Yeah, I mean, that would be a good discussion for the, Public Works Committee, but I don't know if our next meeting is before that tender process is over, but, yeah.
It's the day before. So our next meeting is on the 14th, I believe, and it closes, and the as and when tenders currently closes on the 15th, so that it can come to council for the week of, for the next week,
Right.
for the last set of meetings in October. So I put it to close on the 15th, and then we can bring it to council for our turn.
Okay. Question, comments from Councillor McDonald and then Councillor Wayman.
I'm just wondering with the solar project, if there was, I'm guessing it's the responsibility of the contractor to repair the road where they crossed over, they dug and crossed over. It seems like they had plenty of time, the groundwork was done. I'm just wondering what that looks like at this point.
So they dug it in the winter, right? So they put back the earthworks, and obviously everything was frozen at the time. And everything has thawed since then. So they have been actually going back to fill that up and trying to compact over time to get it as solid as possible. But obviously my team has been doing the same. We do the current conversation with all the crossings, not just that one, because there's a couple of them around town. We're hoping to get them done this summer. The summer has pretty much ended now. And I still spoke to as and when road contractor about it, I think a week ago or so, and we're still looking at probably waiting for the one on Mackenzie to settle for a year, so we'll get all of them next year.
But what in that case, that would be the responsibility of the contractor, wouldn't it?
Their responsibility wasn't to put it back, no, wasn't to pave it. So, and that was one of the questions I did ask as well when I saw the ones we have with the culvert crossings. The first thing I said to the engineers at the time was, my expectation would have been, it's the contractor's responsibility to return this back to the condition they made it. But because paving is prohibitively expensive, I guess, the whole idea was just cover it up, compact it, and gravel. And that was what the engineers had put in place even before I took over those contracts. But I did ask that question. And that would have been my expectation. But then to return it to the original, but unfortunately that's not what it was.
Other questions, comments? Councillor Wayman.
On the water tanks, are we scheduling regular cleaning then?
Well, this is the first time we've done it. So we'll see what the invoice comes in at. Because this year was part of the capital project, so it was easy to get it done. We'll see what the invoice is coming at, if it's something we can accommodate in our O&M cost. And if not, like I said, like I was saying earlier, we might push back at the health officer saying it's probably not feasible to do this yearly. And see what the regulations say and what we can get out of that.
Yeah. It just seemed that we'd want to keep it regularly.
Look, well, he wants it regularly too, so yeah.
It's unfortunate, probably expensive, but it's water's our spice of life, so.
But it is chlorinated and we do checks on it all the time, weekly checks.
Yep, there's always sampling done and sent to the hospital, yeah.
Okay. Any further comments, questions for Daniel? All right, Daniel, thanks. Mario, make sure you holler out if you've got any questions or forget you're there.
Yeah, I certainly will.
Inuvik Works, Patricia. As many of you may have read, Patricia was also inducted into the NWT Educators Hall of Fame for early childhood, and Inuvik had 3 of the 5 inductees, so we did really well. So good job, Patricia. Probably only 10, 12, 20, 30 years of your life serving shotgun?
Decades. Thank you, everyone. The Inuvik Works update. So we have a lot of numbers because we're so new. It's quite exciting that as of September 15th, we diverted 11,407.5 pounds from the landfill. We had to slow donations down to catch up. Our crew was pretty overwhelmed with the donations coming in. Our fabric room with all the clothes and everything in it was stacked almost to the ceiling with things to sort through and price. So we had to take a little break from donations and get caught up, but we are caught up now and we are taking donations again. And total funding to date is $685,964, and that's from a variety of funders that we've got that from. For this fiscal year, it's $460,964 because one of the major funds was a multi-year fund. Total store sales up to September 15th was approximately 17,500. We rounded it up by a couple of dollars. We assisted 52 community members, 5 nonprofits, and 6 businesses or individuals with the Inuvik Works crew. So they've been busy helping elders clean up their yards and do some different tasks. And 5 of the nonprofits around town have taken advantage of the crew's service as well. And 6 businesses and individuals hired the crew to do some labor and work as well. We held a grand opening that had 95 attendees with sales that day at $1,112. Even with all the sales and bargains that we offered that day, our sales were one of our highest sale days. We received recently $50,000 from CIBC for the next to new store to help with the operation and the staffing of it. And in September, we had 179 customers and 27 people assisted. People assisted are people who come in when it gets hotter or colder or wetter or whatever. We have some of our friends from the streets that come in and have a need, and so we help them with that. And sometimes it's for clothing, sometimes it's just somewhere to warm up a little bit as they browse around. When it's hot, we give them water and whatever else they may need if we have it available. And we always recommend that they go up to Hope House for more, better services or more services. In August, we had 130 customers and assisted 58 people. In July, we had 287 customers and assisted 83 people. So some of the things that we accomplished, we held a 3-day mega whale of a deal sale outside. 2 days were outside and 1 day was inside because the weather was a little nasty. That was well received by the community. They could fill a whole bag, like a grocery kind of size bag, for $2, and the last day we had for $1. So we moved a lot of merchandise, and that's why we're able to take more donations again. We hired Joyce McLeod as the next to new administrator, and she's been doing really well. Quick learner, and has been the one sorting all of that mounds of clothing and pricing it and keeping the store stocked up. Elders are very thankful for the assistance that we've given them. Like I said, lots of yard cleanup, decades of items they've had under their houses and stuff have been taken to the landfill or brought to the store, whichever is appropriate. We hear people saying that they've been waiting for next to new and Inuvik Works, that this service is so needed by the community. What we have coming up are weekly sales. We'll have some different draws in the next to new. Last Friday, we drew a raffle. We had a raffle for camping equipment. So we had a cooler that was donated, a tarp, a light sleeping bag, some to-go mugs, a little flashlight, some dishes. I can't remember all what else the crew put in there, but we raffled it off, and that drew in some people into the store. We had hoped to have a Mentorability open house on Friday, but a couple of the people that we hoped would attend are not available, so we're gonna postpone that. October 1st is Light Up for Disabilities Awareness Month, Disabilities Employment Awareness Month. And so we've ordered some purple lights, and we're hoping to light up some windows in the next to new, some windows here at town office, and also some windows at the library to light up for the month to recognize that. On October 16th, we hope to have an event, Cheers for Inclusion, and recognize some of the businesses around town that have hired people with disabilities. So in conclusion, Inuvik Works and Next to New are becoming great community supports with a variety of programming. And does anybody have any questions?
Great, thanks, Patricia. Questions? Council? Councilor Merrill?
Just want to say, great job. You've taken it and so have the staff and the volunteers a long way in a short period of time, and I hear the same thing, that people are ecstatic to have it back. So thanks, Patricia.
Very much. I'll let the crew know.
Please.
Got one number I didn't see there, Patricia. The number of people employed, including yourself, would be 6 or 7?
Six.
Six
And a
full?
casual.
Yeah, okay.
And the great thing about it is I have a couple of the crew members. One shows up and says, I just need a purpose, Patricia. And that's when the first day when I was in the store and he stumbled in talking to me and telling me that he needed a purpose, I kept saying, well, come back tomorrow and we'll see, and come back tomorrow. And as they came back, they were more and more in shape to work, and now is a regular part of our crew. So it's exciting stories like that of the crew members that are coming in. And I wish funding was different and I could hire more, because I have a pile of resumes that I would love to hire, but just funding wise, I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. And jobs, I need more jobs for them to do. So.
Great.
Thank
Other
you.
questions, comments? Great, thanks, Patricia.
Thanks.
Parks and Recreation, Grace?
Good evening, everyone. This is the Parks and Recreation update. I'd like to start off with some key performance indicators from across our three areas, the MSC, the pool, and the library. So starting on the left-hand side, we've compiled the gym memberships sold by each type over the months of June, July, and August. We can see that our monthly gym membership is by far our most popular. We average about 73 of those a month. So that's a very popular one that we'd like to keep offering. We noticed that the 3-month is gaining popularity too as we go into August. We attributed that to people wanting to get back into the gym, the school starting up again, people coming back into town. Moving over to aquatics, what we have there is the average bather load per type of swim. So we can see, as usual, that the public swims are very popular, both public swim 1 and 2. There was an extra public swim added this summer, and we can see that it was well utilized throughout those summer months, as well as the elders swim. The numbers don't necessarily look that large, but it's a great service to have for the elders in the community. It's great. It works well in conjunction with the elders range of motion. The elders swim happens on Wednesdays, and then the elders range of motion happens on Thursdays. So it's nice to have those couple of events close together and giving elders in the community an option to do something on different days if they can make one or both. Going all the way to the right there, we have the number of library visits. I apologize that that's a little small. The interesting thing I found with that is, of the approximately 1,500 visitors that visited the library in August, just under 1,300 of them were adults. And so I think it speaks to the opportunity to bring more adult type programming and amenities to the library along with what they already offer. Go to the next slide, Jenna, please. So looking back on what we accomplished over the summer months, we had a partnership with the Actual STEM and Science Camp. They normally partner with IRC for their summer camp. We were lucky enough that they contacted us this year, and so we got to work with them in conjunction with our summer camp. The two pictures at the bottom there, the one all the way to the right is their permafrost session in conjunction with ARI. So that was a really neat one. The kids really enjoyed that, and hopefully it sparked some passions in some of them. And the one to the left was a community mapping exercise that they did. So they all drew their favorite parts of the community and things that mean something to them. And we did have some youth from different communities. So it was neat to see how they all each individually view their community. On the top right, and the second point was our free Zumba class. I had a Zumba instructor approach me this summer who just graciously wanted to offer a free Zumba class to the community. So they came in on August 12th and did that for us. We received about 12 people. There might have been 15. I'm not sure if everybody made the picture there, but that was a really well received class and something we'd like to do more in the future if we had the ability to either have that instructor back or train one of our own instructors in-house. New windows were installed in the fitness center. That was a big one. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but they're now all solid and have glass in them. So that's a big win for us there. The top left corner there is our health box that was installed in the pool lobby. And so for anybody not familiar with that, what it is it's installed by the health authority, and it has everything from oral health kits to toques and mitts to pregnancy tests, contraception devices, anything that you might not want to, people from the community either don't have access to, or maybe a sensitive subject and they might not want to go to public health and receive those things. They have the opportunity to anonymously get them from that vending machine in the pool lobby. One of the nice features of it too is it does collect a little bit of information from the user, and it does have a couple of steps. So you can't just randomly press buttons and empty out the machine. So we really hope that it'll get to the people that need it that way. Hot tub repairs have been completed after a long road. We're just awaiting the health inspector to give us our final sign off, and then that will be open again. So we're really looking forward to that. Last Sunday, we had our annual Terry Fox Run partnership. We were just kind of the host venue, just set some things up for the people that actually take care of it, but it's always a nice one to have and a good community event. So we're happy to be part of that. And looking forward to what we got coming up over the next few months. It's kind of conference season at the MSC. But first and foremost, I guess I just missed over that. We have a new aquatic supervisor starting with us on Wednesday of this week, actually. So Jake Weens is his name. He comes to us from the University of Calgary. Has a wealth of experience with large pools and small pools and all kinds of different aquatic programming. So I really think that he's going to bring a good depth to the team. He has his pool operator 1 and 2 certificates, so he's going to bring a lot of versatility to the operation side of thing and maybe give some relief to the gentlemen on Scott's team that are playing multiple duties there. So we're really looking forward to him and seeing what he can bring and just elevate us to that next level. We're also the host venue for the NWT Recreation Conference. That'll be taking place at the MSC, as well as other buildings in town, including Ingwell Hall. There's a session or two there, and that takes place from October 7th to 9th. And that's a number of recreation professionals and town administrators will come from local communities and surrounding areas and get together and listen to some sessions and share some thoughts. And it's a really good networking opportunity. There is parts that are open to the public. So I encourage anybody who has a spare few minutes during those days to stop by and see what it's all about. Once that conference gets all wrapped up, we are then the venue for the NWT Tourism Conference in November. And so that'll be kind of the same sort of thing, a good networking opportunity, but on the flip side, it'll be for tourism professionals. So really looking forward to that as well. And conferences are always a good time. The building is busy and there's lots going on. Later on in November, actually following the end of that conference, we're working with IMHA to help them facilitate a hockey camp for the kids while they're off school. They're going to do a number of on ice portions and then off ice dry land training as well. I believe they're bringing up some speakers and things like that for the kids. So really looking forward to helping facilitate that and, you know, giving the kids something to do during their time off during that time. As Charlotte mentioned earlier, we'll be we're the host venue for the Beaufort Delta Trade Show. That one also has a portion that's free to the community. And so we encourage people to come down and see what that's all about and support the local businesses. Arena ice installation, I actually got that incorrect. We didn't start today. We will be starting tomorrow. We were just waiting for the pad to come to temperature and make sure everything was holding. It looks like we're well in line and ready to start tomorrow. So we should have ice without putting a hard date on it, definitely before the start of October. And then we'll be moving into our arena season. We've already met with our arena user groups for the year and getting our schedule squared away. So I think everybody's happy on that front, and we're looking forward to another good arena season with the tournaments and things in the new year as well. And then finally, our bread and butter boot camp fitness class has returned on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Started last week. We had a really good turnout on the first day and a fairly decent turnout on the Thursday as well. So that was good, and just looking to continue to grow that. We'll be running a bring a friend promotion at some point in October. And so that will allow one person to pay for an entry to boot camp and then bring a friend for free to see if they like it. And hopefully we can increase our membership that way. Does council have any questions?
Thank you, Trace. A lot going on there. Questions, comments from council? Councilor Bear.
First of all, well done. I noticed that in your KPIs for the gym memberships, you didn't include corporate memberships. Is that still being utilized? And is the uptake the same as what it has been in the past?
It is, yes. So I didn't break out corporate memberships from year memberships because in the 3 months, we only had one of each. We sold one large corporate membership, which was a renewal tuition, and there was one annual membership that got purchased. So I just merged them together. But I do have those figures if you'd like to see them broken out at the rec meeting.
Any further questions, comment, Councilor Bear?
It's great to see the attendance breakdown or the visits breakdown associated with the library. This time, the reporting period that you had, as of last year, we would have still had the reduced hours. Do we know if we're seeing an increase in the number of individuals who are visiting the library now that the new hours have been put in place for a while and we're probably getting a larger user base, or is it similar?
I'm not, excuse me, I'm not sure on that, but I will talk with Renee and get those. I haven't seen those numbers from the reduced hours, but I will look at them and I'll have that answer for you in the rec meeting tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Thanks. Yeah, it could, because you never know, it might justify us, you know, even extending the
Yes.
hours even more now, right?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Councilor McDonald.
Yeah, I was just looking at the aquatic or the pool schedule, and there's a slight difference from last year. Was the lunchtime swim that was offered last year? I don't know if that was taken out due to staffing. But it looks like the staffing base has started to increase again. Just wondering if there's any plans to bring a little more of that back.
That is all correct, Councilor McDonald. So the lunchtime lane swim just at the beginning of September was dropped due to staffing shortages. Now with the addition of our new aquatic supervisor and allowing our head lifeguard to go back to full-time head lifeguarding duty, we anticipate bringing that lunchtime swim back as soon as our our aquatic supervisor gets his feet under him. And that's exactly, we received feedback on that right away, that even though it's not necessarily one of our biggest or most well-attended swims, it's people that look forward to that and they want to have that. And so it was nothing that we wanted to do. It was just, where is the least impact going to be felt among the patrons? So as soon as, like I said, as soon as the aquatic supervisor gets his feet under him and we have that staffing capacity, that'll be coming back hopefully by October, first part of October.
Thank you.
Councilor Merrill.
Great to see the hot tub open. Is the water slide functioning yet?
The water side is not functioning yet. They are looking at what they can do about the leak is one of the major issues, because it then leaks into the squash court and we don't want to ruin the squash courts.
Thank you.
So Tracy, when you say they are looking at that, is that our as and when mechanical or our arena staff?
More our arena staff right now doing a preliminary inspection and then seeing where we need to go with it.
Okay, yeah, it's just seems like it hasn't been working for quite a while, so.
There was two issues with it. There's a structural concern with it coming out of the wall when it's running. I believe that has been addressed in terms of it's not fixed, but the engineer doesn't feel as though it's a safety concern. It's just something to be aware of, I guess. And then we have then moved on to, then the pump wasn't functioning, that pushes the water down the water slide, and we finally got a new pump. And now that the pump is functioning, there is now the leak into the squash court. So there's compounding issues that we didn't find until one part was fixed.
Okay, be great to get it going. Welcome, McDonald.
Sorry, that just you reminded me of one other question. It might be a question for Daniel, I'm not sure, but the air handling unit that feeds the squash court areas, I don't think has been running for quite some time. Do you have any update on that or any information?
I don't have any further information. I do know that it isn't functioning and that it has been looked at. I don't know where we've landed on that. I can find that information as well and relay that to you.
Okay.
No further questions, comments for Trace? Great, thanks, Trace.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Protective Services, Brian. Also want to thank Brian, his staff, Cindy, everybody who from the town that was working Saturday with the event. I know, Brian, you were in contact with the RCMP right from the very beginning to the end, and a lot of extra work, but in the end, kept the community safe, and they were able to lift the shelter in place and get on with everything else that we had to do. But I know all of our facilities, including the library, were shut down, and in some cases, staff were taking care of people who had no place to go until their parents picked them up. And so anyway, kudos to all the staff that were assisting with Saturday's event.
Thank you. Obviously, I can't,
Button.
obviously, I can't give any details on that as it's an open investigation, but the protective services took part right from the get-go until the end. We're just hoping for positive outcomes for everybody involved. Yeah. So in terms of I don't have a lot of numbers right now. We have we're doing we're updating our database actually, because we've been collecting all sorts of information over the last year or two. And we decided we're going to find a better way to present that. So we're moving over to a new system. It's not a new system, it's just a better way of bringing it forward. So I didn't have access to a lot of our runs, our call volumes, things like that for the last couple months. Hoping to have that in place for the next few weeks. And then we'll have all sorts of fancy graphics and displays and everything else that we can pull up and cross-reference at the push of a mouse, which will be really nice to be able to provide better metrics. But I'll give you a lot of data about information about what we've been doing, what we're going to be doing over the next little bit too. We just wrapped up our NFPA 1001 professional firefighter program, completed it about 2 weeks ago. We had 5 people that finished that successfully, completed the skills evaluations. So congratulations to those members. We are doing our NFPA 1002 driver operator evaluations in October. We've been running an in-house course through College of the Rockies for that one. We have 9 people that will likely be graduating from that. Allows them to operate the fire trucks, run the pumps, drive to emergency scenes. It's one of the things that we've been working on within our development of our training program, to be able to run these courses internally without relying on outside instructors. We used to have to fly somebody up for say a week to run this course, but we're offering it over the last few months. It usually costs about say 20 to 25,000 to run a course, and then we've got down to just examination fees in the neighborhood of a couple $100 per person. So we're really proud that we can offer that continuous professional level training. We're in the midst of our recruit training program for 2025. We have 12 new candidates on board. It brings our roster to 42 members, active members at the time. We're finishing up this weekend with additional skills training. It's really hands-on training for our new personnel, but we're really excited to finish this up. We're going to be offering our NFP 1021 Officer 1 course in November as part of our development program with our existing officers and some of our career staff. It's on-scene command course, so they'll be more suited and more prepared to command fire scenes, emergency scenes, and all sorts of other stuff. And we're doing an NFP 1041 instructor level 1 course. We're doing it as in-service training for our career staff. Again, through our partnership with College of the Rockies, we're able to offer this course directly. And again, from a professional development point of view, this is a great course to be able to offer so that we can continue building instructors throughout our department. On the IT side, we are just about finished our network upgrades. We're waiting for still fiber drop to be installed into the library. That's the last kind of piece of the puzzle with this. It's tied in with the bridge and the Utilidor upgrades over there, just in terms of when New North can get the network infrastructure in there, and then that will be completely wrapped up. We have all the hardware ready to go, and then the network program will be, the capital project will be completed at that point. Workstations are about 90% complete. I have everything purchased right now. We're doing a few other items, other workstations in town. We're working on the shared user stations right now. That'll be completed within the month, I would say, just depending on when we get the next round of hardware in. For the phone system upgrades, the VoIP system is 100% complete. We introduced a call virtual assistant. So we call the front office now, it goes to a call tree, and you can select the option for which department you'd like to get. There's been not growing pains, but we just have to double check some of the programming with that, but everything seems to be working pretty much as intended right now. We've also been replacing and upgrading cell phones across the board. It's being run through a mobile device management program, so we can better track all the devices we have on stock or in hand. We can push out updates and all sorts of other things. We found that just replacing all the phones across the board fit within the existing capital budgets and just allows us to be more efficient on our time when we're assessing things. There's a lot of broken phones, a lot of out of date phones. And it basically just gives everyone the tools they need to do their job. And again, allows us to manage it centrally and better track the assets that we purchase. We've got some stuff planned for 2026 capital projects. We're looking at server replacement. We're looking at security cameras, and we're looking at door access program. That's kind of taking the existing one that's at the MSC, expanding it and running it across to all facilities. With lack of a commercial locksmith, we've encountered some difficulties in keys. Daniel and the infrastructure crew gotten some really good immediate solutions to it. We're hoping to provide fob access for the gym. It would be access via your phone through an app when you get your gym membership. So lots of other things that we can do with that just to increase the user experience at all our facilities. And just allows us to control access in general better. So, and that's all related to the network infrastructure that we put in place. So it allows us to do that from like a centralized server. On the municipal enforcement side, and this is kind of across all protective services, we have just hired our protective services supervisor. So this position is actually replacing the career deputy chief on the fire department. What we recognize, we have a lot of talent on the Inuvik Fire Department. We don't necessarily have people that want to move over full-time to a career position. We didn't really have a career pathway and a succession plan in place for the director's position either. A lot of people, it tends to come up through the fire side for the director of protective services. But we recognize there's really no pathway from the municipal enforcement side as well. So a lot of the stuff Cindy can relate to this, and I had to experience it as well, and I think every single other fire chief and director has had to do it as well, is there's a whole side of the municipal enforcement side that's often not addressed in that hiring. So with this position, it basically is going to move the deputy chief position to a paid on call position again, as it was in the past. And the protective services supervisor is going to be handling a lot of the same roles as the deputy chief, especially in terms of maintenance and ongoing operations, but it won't be quite the high level emergency response side. It'll be more administrative in nature, maintenance focused in nature, and coordinating our maintenance and other activities. And again, it gives them broader experience across the board to help fill my role when I'm eventually out of here. We have been running with, so that's been hired, and Stefan Biller was our successful candidate for that. And he's been in the role for a week and doing just great, actually. So we're really proud of him. His position is being filled currently. We're running the competition. It's closed now. We've got some applicants. We're running the interviews tomorrow. Hopefully have that filled within the next couple of days. We ran more ATV safety. We ran an ATV safety course at East 3 Secondary. It was pretty successful. We got in with a lot of classes with that, had some real honest discussions with students. We've expanded our positive ticketing program to include a raffle with it as well for a snowmobile / ATV helmet. A pretty slick one that we're going to give out to the successful winner. Basically, for anyone to enter it, we just have to be giving them a positive reinforcement ticket. Appears to be working really happy with it, and it's starting to spread, especially amongst all the kids with the helmet itself, so. Pretty blank. We are also running a derelict and abandoned building drive. So municipal enforcement has been driving around, identifying any building that we feel have been either derelict or accessible and presents a safety risk. So we're approaching this from a public safety point of view, as opposed to aesthetics point of view. We're creating a list of buildings. We're working with commercial owners to identify those buildings and properly secure them. And we're gonna be sending out mass mailings and notices to all the owners that have affected properties with this. We've reached out to a few already, just to get some initial work done. We've been pushing people towards Inuvik Works when they have identified that they haven't been able to do it themselves for various reasons. And then the bylaw itself, we examined the bylaw in detail just to see what options are available for addressing this. And we're going to work with Inuvik Works, and we'll provide notice to owners if they deal with it directly within the time frame to give them. Excellent. If they don't, we're gonna contract with Inuvik Works to go and board up the windows and secure the buildings. After that, if they'll be invoiced for that as per the bylaw. If they choose not to pay the invoice, then it gets put onto their taxes also as per the bylaw. So we're hoping that we have some pretty good results with this. It's a pretty quick time frame that we're looking to have this turned around, but it's basically just securing some of the problematic buildings that we've identified. We think it's gonna improve safety, especially in terms of some of the fire responses we've had over the last month. We feel that this is needed and prudent. So stand by, we've probably seen a lot of changes in some buildings through town. Next, please. We have just introduced we were successful in our application for Wildland Urban Interface Coordination Program. So we received $275,000 annually. It's a renewable program up to 3 years in funding. It's basically under the Federal Wildland Resiliency Fund. It's run through ECC, so we're working in partnership with the ECC on this to advance fire smuggling principles through the Northwest Territories. It's a similar program to what is set up in Fort Smith right now, so we're going to be coordinating quite a bit with them, north-south centers on this. So we just hired a coordinator, that's Elise Vanderpost. She's a captain with the Inuvik Fire Department. She has a lot of experience in Fort Smith, working in the regions and running kind of standalone programs as well. What this is going to do is provide training and coordination for wildland events and just general fire training and basically anything that covers the wildland urban interface. And we're using our expertise on the structural municipal firefighting on this. We have it completely set up from a funding point of view. So it's completely separate from the Inuvik Fire Department. So when instructors go out or participate in regional training, it's not coming out of municipal funds for this. It's separate, whole separate pot of funding for paying our instructors to provide this training, and as well as the position itself. And there's a regional equipment inventory that we're going to build up as part of this, just to standardize equipment across the Northwest Territories in multiple regions, so that we can draw on systems from other regions and other communities, and they can do vice versa. And then everybody gets compensated for that skill that they're providing. So we have just got this started within the last few weeks, and it's working really well. The corollary is that we are able to use the person for IFD activities as well, so that's been really handy. And Elise has been running with a lot of our administrative upgrades and some new things. The reporting that we're going to be doing, the data is kind of her brainchild. Some really good ways to use that, so we're just letting her run with it. Coming up, we've got our hydrant access route drive. So we've targeted this for November. As you may know, we did revamp all the hydrant access routes. It's kind of the existing routes. We just codified them to make sure that more people are aware of them. So we have that post on the website. We're going to be doing more information around that, working with other resources, including Inuvik Works, around covering elders and town-owned properties as well for the access routes. If you're an elder, you're otherwise tax exempt, you're not responsible for access ways. We use the municipality. We're also going to be running with our early dog license renewal in December. We've acquired some point of sale devices within protective services, so people will be able to renew there on the fly, out in the vehicle, all sorts of different places. We can bring it to events, and it's an online sign-up program. So we're hoping to hit this early and hard in December, and we're moving over to chipping. So working with some of the veterinarian organizations that come up to Inuvik, as well as providing training to the municipal enforcement staff so that we can microchip and better track within that system as well. So that will be part of it too. And as I said, are doing a protective services technician hiring right at the moment. Towards the end of October, I'll be heading to Yellowknife for the NWT Fire Chiefs Association conference, and we're hoping to push more around, the Wildland Urban Interface Coordination Program across the territories, as well as Wounded Warriors, so the kind of focus on training for Wounded Warriors Canada. We've implemented a critical incident stress management program with the Fire Chiefs Association to provide peer counseling and support to all of the departments across the Northwest Territories. So this will provide peer counselor training, so we'll be able to provide resources and that voice to talk to when you experience some pretty significant events, as we all know happen. So that is all I have for today, I believe. Yep. And you guys have any questions?
Thanks, Brian. Questions, comments, council? That's good. Councilor Fair.
Thanks for your update. I just wanted to indicate that I think it's really positive that you were responsive to community concerns and to run the ATV education program at the school, and then also run that blitz. I'm hopeful that the prize is one that the students want, and it sounds really positive to align with being healthy out on the roadway. And it might be a great idea to run a similar type of blitz, near the end of the school year again, to remind youth before they really get into it again for the summer season.
That's exactly what we're intending, actually. We're looking at this one, helmet for the winter, snowmobile season, and then in the summer for ATVs. But yes, exactly that, so.
Any further questions, comments? Looks good. Thanks very much, Ron. Good report, very thorough. Stephen, Corporate Services.
Well, let me just quickly pass this.
Excuse me. Thank you. No, I think I've got.
Good evening, everyone. This is public services update between the last period and now. I just passed around the capital project report and the operating budget variance report. I have more details than summarized here. Continue update, one of two capital project reports as of September 19th, so Friday, 2025. The reports have been given out. The highlights are as follows. As of Friday, September 19th, out of the annual capital budget of 14.05 million, 4.1 million has been spent, an increase of 2.2 million from the last report. Out of 45 approved projects, 13 have been completed, and 8 have no expenses recorded yet, while the rest are in various stages of completion. Detailed comments are to be distributed in the distributed reports, and directors can speak as they have done to the variances and where they think they're going to land at the end of the period. Next one. The operating expenses variance report is for January to August 2025 with an extension to September 19th. So the annual budget, 2025 annual budget figure, it's for 12 months, and then the to-date budget figure is from January to August. The actual figure is as at September 19th. So
want to make the actual as close as possible. And we have the notes there. The first session is the revenue session, and for total revenue for 464,000 surplus. That's comparing the to-date budget with the actual. And the total expense is 72,000 deficit. The major reasons are more funds have been received as and when due, and there are more notes here for admin and protective services. In terms of revenue, the full year targets have been hit already. And the reasons are given there in the notes. Recoveries from nuisance alarm for protective services. And unbudgeted revenue from NW TAC building inspection incentive received by infrastructure. On the expense side, we have some deficit there, and the explanations are also stated underneath. Here, next slide. Qualitative updates. What we accomplished. We were able to finalize the first and second quarter Community Public Infrastructure, which is CPI, and Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF, funding reports. The first quarter one has already been approved, and the second quarter one is still being finalized by markup, but they've been sent to them. And also, we have a new accounting software that we have reached an advanced stage in our discussions. We kind of shortlisted three applicants, and we are almost, I can say the one we're talking with now is likely going to be the software we're going to use, but we're yet to get some information from them on cost and pricing and some other, and implementation timeline. From our discussion with them, they have a 12-month implementation timeline, which we're kind of trying to see how we can break it into two steps, wherein by January we want to start with the new software, and then the other information, legacy information, can now come in from the legacy system along the line, so that we're able to start using the new software as soon as possible. So that is still at an advanced stage, and we're expecting some information from them. We've finalized the financial statement audit. It's been sent to markup, and we fulfilled the requirements that markup put in place concerning being able to get our CPI and CCBF funding for this year. So we're just waiting on that. Usually it comes around toward the end of September or early October. What's coming up? New accounting software talks to be finalized. And we have our final property tax bill is yet to be concluded. Actually, before I went on vacation, I thought that by the time I come back, it would have been sent out. But we have some constraints on some information that were not properly put into MAIS, which MAIS is helping us look into. We want to see how by the end of this week we can get that out. So that's what I have. Any questions?
Thanks, Stephen. Questions, comments from council, and then the handout on the operating budget and the capital budget, also just summarizing what expenses were there. Even one question on the tax billing, that hasn't gone out, and normally that goes out, what, in June? The second July bill?
Yeah, July, kind of.
Yeah. Is, because that revenue is not coming in most cases, is that affecting our bank account or? Are paying for things, given that that's a fairly large chunk of money?
Usually we give them 60 days to pay up, so yes, or within that period, it's fairly large. And yeah, we're gonna see what we can. Initially started with, also staffing problem and coupled with understanding of the system, coupled with required support. And yeah, we've kind of dealt with them at various stages. So I believe that with all hands on deck, we should be able to get something out by this weekend.
Sorry, in reply to your question, has it affected our bank account like we saw money in the bank? Yes, we do.
Cash
If that's what you're asking, yes, we do.
Um,
We've got more than enough to be paying the bills.
yes, well, that's good, because that's considerable amount of money, and the fact that we are now going on 4 months behind sending that out, would certainly recommend that that's a priority for the whole department. To get that completed and out, because soon we'll be finished that fiscal year and we are still collecting the tax for it. And we don't want to be in a situation where we're trying to collect 2025 taxes in 2026.
Yeah, we're aware of that. It's yeah, it's been looked at.
Further questions, comments from council? Nothing. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
That concludes the departmental updates. Any further questions, comments on any of the updates? Information items, item number 11. Any further information items that we have to put on? Don't think. Any information items from any of the councilors? Okay. Council concerns. Councilor Day.
The lack of wheelchair access taxis is becoming a question across the shop at my place. I know, and just wondering what's up with the taxis being available. We do have 2 permits and none of them are wheelchair access.
So you're saying the taxi companies aren't providing the wheelchair access taxi when they're being requested?
Well, there's just none in town.
Well, there's none in town. Okay. Okay, could we check that out, Brian, to see?
There's 2 taxis, car 24 and car 2. That are wheelchair access, and they're both, I don't know, one is down, I guess, and the other one is not wheelchair access.
Okay, I saw 24 on the road, so we can confirm that before Wednesday. If they're here or on the road or serviceable. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take a look into that. They're in the midst of renewals right now, so we're doing safety inspections on all of them too. I wasn't aware of it, started the news, they were both operating, but we'll check them out and provide info.
Just wheelchair access vans.
Yes, yeah, because they have the company has a legal mandate to requirement to offer it under the bylaw as well.
Good.
They have to maintain them 100%. I just don't have the data right now to know exactly which ones and whether, but as far as I know, everything, the checkout, everything was good. So, yeah,
Okay.
but we'll confirm it.
People are coming to me, asking me, and I'll
Yeah.
bring it up.
We'll get to the bottom of it, we'll find it out and provide a comprehensive response on this, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Any other questions, comments, council concerns? Councilor McDonald, look like you had
Yeah,
a
no,
concern.
I haven't heard anything about the dental. I know we were talking about it earlier, there was supposed to be some information. Is there been any update?
I actually talked to the landlord that has a signed lease for the new dentist. He was in Bulgaria, went back home to visit his family for a part of August and September, so I called Della today and said, have you heard from him? Where are things at? And, he hasn't heard since he left, but they were in contact with or he was in contact with the company, that he was ordering the dental equipment from, so hopefully he's back here by the end of the month and, it continues to move on that. Yeah. The other concern that I just remember that we have had around town, you may have noticed that, Industry Tourism and Investment closed both of their campgrounds on September 4th. And they closed the Western Arctic Visitor Center on September 4th. And so we have people camping at Midnight Sun Complex, both ends of Boot Lake, the Welcome Center. Oh, he left, there was a camper van just pulled into the parks. Could tell it was a tourist who's covered in mud, pulled into the parks parking lot, so. They're basically camping wherever they can. They're coming to the complex to use the shower when they can. They're looking for laundry facilities. There's a biker that was pedal biking, there's a biker from Korea. I think he went and pitched a tent down from the boat launch, so. I have contacted both of our MLAs, or contacted the minister and said, why is Beaufort Delta shut down? North Slave, South Slave are still open, so apparently they still have tourists. I've also contacted Jason from infrastructure, because the ferries count all of the motorbikes, camper vans, camper trailers, just to get an indication of how many campers, tourists we're still getting in September. And hopefully they've got the information for last year as well as this year, so we've got some artifacts to say, these people are coming up. And I talked to the superintendent, Allison Levy, and said, the pretty simple solution here, shut one, well, first of all, open one campground up a little bit later, mid-June, because often the ferries aren't in until the 6th or 7th of June. Open one up mid-June and close one mid-August, and then leave the other one open, a month longer for the month of September. It's gonna cost you the same amount of money, and then we've got the service, and then we don't have people camped everywhere, so, we're gonna push a little harder on that this year and see whether we can't get that changed, because most of the campers are fairly independent. They've got everything they need except a washroom and a shower on some of the camper vans, but, it would give, if people are making the effort to get this far, it would be good to at least provide that service, so we're gonna see what we can do to, make that happen. And certainly in Tuck, they're still seeing lots of people getting to the Arctic coast and camping there. So everybody who goes to Tuck comes here twice, so we gotta see what we can do to address that. Councilman McDonald?
Yeah, and on that note, actually, I didn't bring it up, a little late in the season, but it was noted, I talked with Brian, that we don't have a bylaw in place saying there's no overnight camping in anywhere on our town property, and this is probably something I think we're gonna have to deal with. Because even when the campgrounds are open,
Yeah,
they're not paying their $20 or whatever it is, and they're camping all over town,
yeah.
and we should be pushing them in campgrounds. Because it's good for the campgrounds to have that.
Well, and it's also. That's where they're supposed to go.
Supposed to be there, yeah.
As opposed to, we see them at the end of Boot Lake where they're camping and they got the chairs out and the barbecue. It's a day use area, it's not a campground, but
Yeah.
I mean, in September, they have to go somewhere, but yeah, the other months of the year, and that may require some signs on our part, no overnight camping in some of those areas, so, but we also have to look at what we have for bylaws, whether if we can restrict them without. Or put those bylaws in place, so, yeah, I mean, we wanna welcome tourists, but if we've got good facilities. We wanna welcome them there where they have all the facilities they need. Yeah. Any further comments, questions, or concerns, council concerns? If not, we don't have any in camera items this evening.